Alrighty, how we doing, guys? My name is Chris Allen, Chris Allen BGC, co-conspirator of the Gauntlet. Y'all know the gist. Uh, co-conspirator of the podcast, owner of the Gauntlet. I'm sorry. Today I am doing a little recap of the draft league for PBK. Um, so first and foremost, let's go here to the schedule. And let's just kind of identify. So the road to the throne, we had two conferences, right? The Eastern and Western Conference. I came in on week 2 of this draft league and took over for my team. They were 1-0-1 when I came in. I think it was week 2. Um, and then we're also going to go to my YouTube page, channel content. Shout out to my boy Nexus Complex. Popped up there on my recommended. Watch a lot of videos. Very good guy, man. Um, let's go to my channel, view channel. Hide all the spoilers there of what's being released and when. And we're gonna go to our videos. I am going to look and see my first PBK match. So Peter, PBK 8. Maybe it was week 8 was the first. I don't see one before that. Week 8, Peter. I don't think I started that late. So let's see here. My Magma the Shoe. I remember that game. TD. Philadelphia Panthers. So it was 2 because the Colossals. So that was when we started. We came in week 2 against the Colossals. So that was my opening game match there for him. One thing to note for that match specifically is that we're going to go ahead and also open a second tab for this while we're talking about it, because I can actually do the schedule and then I'll show my specific lineup. So yeah, I came in on week 2. When we came on, we basically came on to a team that had no true synergy. It had the Rapid Strike and Blastoise were both still here. A Salgor Steelix. So all of those guys. So a Selgor wasn't on the team when I came on, and Raichu wasn't on the team. And that's Blastoise. Let's just fix that. All right. So yeah, when I came on, he had that. He had Blastoise. He had Golisopod. He did not have Raichu, and he did not have a Selgor. So I grabbed. I was allowed to make as many trades as I wanted, but I kind of wanted to utilize what my opponent gave me as far as his teams. So, with all that being said, I took the Raichu and a Selgor to kind of have the combo with Palisand there. And we actually have right here, we have a couple of our opening week games. So we're going to look at the first one. This is my inaugural week. Whether it records my phone. Oh man, video quality on this is going to be so bad. Apologize in advance on this one. Yeah, why is it not like? fitting to better. Messed up. So part 1 and 2 and 3 of my match against Jeremy. Is there a way to like change the view on this? Full screen, maybe? All right, we can kind of see that. So we see right here, this is, I have no idea what's going on. Selgor is my last Pokemon. He has Comfey and he has Sneasel. Um, and it looks like he won that one. So what we did here, we went ahead and we Surging Strikes priority his Pokemon. And this week I did run Max Attack, Max Speed. Sneasel, I think I did forget the Fake Out here, if I'm not remembering. I don't think I was sashed. Um, and so we'll see. He goes to the basics. And I remember he did get me with the Sneasel lead because I totally forgot Inner Focus. Um, and I think that's what happened here. Trying to remember it. Yeah, so definitely, yeah, forgot about Inner Focus. He got the Surf off. If we were sash, Surf broke our sash. And now this is where it gets tricky. My best counter, honestly, probably would have been to throw a Nuzzle on and go for something different there. But, you know, as you see, we did not do that. So then we go here. Palisand comes out. Raichu's still out. And Palisand is not great in front of Cole. We end up going for the Max Quake and the Colossal, and we got the kill. So between Nuzzle and that, we end up picking up the kill. I think I Nuzzle Max Guard, and then I Max Quake with Nuzzle helping cripple its speed a little bit. And yeah, that's what got us Cole. So just kind of a recap. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on some of the older ones just because of how bad the video is. So yeah, that was our inaugural video. Uh, we won that. Then followed and went with a +2. So, like I said, I took over right here on week 2. The following week we lost. I think he recorded that out of the Philadelphia Pincers. Uh, he won with a +3. So we're not sitting too good. You know, we're 1-2 at this point. 1-1 for me specifically. So it become a must-win game the next week just to get to 2-2, and that's where this comes in. So let's go ahead and let's go over here. Let's look and see if this is as bad as the other one. So this was my third game with the team. Okay, this one looks not as bad. So yeah, this was the third game with our team here. Oh, this is his recording of it. Okay. I was like, where am I recording this at? Because I don't know if that's me. Um, so yes, this week we kept and what I did throughout the season was I did try and force that Palisand to Selgor as my main win con. Um, and I did go a Blastoise win con just to keep people guessing. I wanted when I was looking at it, I was playing long game stuff, and I really wanted to just get around back into stuff. So right here, this game we do go with a Blastoise. Mainly, I was worried about the Dracozolt a little bit. So what I did is I shell smashed, and I said, you know what, I have to shell smash, and I also have Raichu to stop the electric attack. So that was kind of my game. And we see here Corviknight leftovers. I faked it out, went shell smash, and he actually baited into my lightning rod. So lightning rod did help us a lot in this game. And this is one of the ones we win. So if we just skip through it here, you'll see we max this turn. Uh, we go ahead and we Wormwind. So what that did is that allows us to start doing stuff. He actually quaked in the Raichu who has an air balloon in these early games. That was one of the items I was really using on him for some of my opponents because of earthquakes and such. So here, Dracozold's pretty much dead. Uh, the Corviknight is still fully healthy. And Corviknight was not something I loved in the back. So what I'm going to do on this turn is I'm actually looking at, and I'm fully healthy on both my Pokemon, right? Because he had 2 turns wasted from his max, and his Corviknight was faked out and then had to use Tailwind. So we go into this match here, we have a lot of momentum, a lot of positives for our side. So if we look here, here comes a Wormwind. We're going to go ahead and pick up the kill on Dracozolt. Um, you know, Mere Armor would have also been fatal, but we're special attackers. So that was my kind of that's one of the other reasons I did go Blastoise, just because with Wormwind it wouldn't really affect me too much. So we see bulk up body press is going to be the set my opponent's running here. So I'm not too concerned about it. We see in the back he has to Raichu and he has a Ditto, and Ditto was one of the Pokemon that it can honestly be pretty crazy. I was very surprised he did not bring the Ditto in, just to steal stats from the boost from White Herb. So yeah, we get to this point in the game. Uh, Steelix comes out. Steelix is my go-getter for this match. I wanted to use him in a game. Um, so I baited the Protect here, hoping to just kind of take some pressure off. We see my Water Pulse goes off into the Ditto because I do have the boost. That's going to kill his Ditto, which did copy my Steelix. So that was actually really good for us because it was weak to the other Pokemon I had. And also we see some chip damage here, so this is kind of helping counter the leftovers heal stuff from my opponent. Um, so as we go into this now, his Tailwind peters out. It is 3 against 1, and that was pretty much game. I mean, there's still a chance for some misplays on my end with some stuff, but it pretty much was sealed because I still have Urshifu who's going to hit a fairly decent into it. Um, and Steelix can do some chip away damage, and Steelix hits pretty hard. Um, and I think I actually shell smashed here uh, purposely to just try and get that extra strength out. And we see it worked and paid off. So that's all we're going to watch for this one. Um, as we look at that third game of mine here against Dirty Dittos. So we see, we win that one, and we had a +5 in our favor. So that ended up being really big. We played 3 games, or no, we played 2 games, and I won that one there with a +3, and I won the other one with a +2 to have a +5 differential, which was really important because, you know, we inherited the team at -2. We canceled that out with our first win, but then we lost and went -3. So we had to have a really good thing to get us into a positive differential, especially when you have a long season like this. So then going in this week over here, now we're at +2, right? Going into the 4th week, or coming out of the 4th week, and we're back at 2-2. After this, we take a couple losses. We lose to Shu as well as the New York Fire Dogs. Um, so I know this is the New York Fire Dogs right here. I'll open that, and then I assume that this is going to be Shu. And we do, in fact, end up losing to both of these guys here. Shu, we lost with a 1 differential, and then with the Fire Dogs, we managed to keep it at 3, and that was a very tough game for us. So let's just kind of rewind this right back here. This is our match against Shu. Um, let's see where the match is kind of taking place. And so he had a Hatterene and some expanding force options here, I think. So that's why I think I do run the. I'll have to look and see. I believe this was the one. Yeah, this was it. So what I did for him is I actually did run the Psychic Seed because of his terrain. to just give this Algor the speed boost right away. Um, and so yeah, and this was a real tough one because Kuparaja, I really had like not a lot at this point. You'll see later that I still wasn't studying with my team as well as I wish I did early on, or later on in the playoffs, because I actually do build an Urshifu that can counter steel and grass types, right? So I could have built Urshifu here to counter some of those stuff. It would have also countered the psychic. It just would have been walled pretty hard by the that fairy typing from Hatterene. But we see here it's definitely Hatterene and Kuparaja. So right at the gate, we know, okay, this gets a little tricky. Um, so what I did here, what my opponent did, and this does go I think this does go to 3 games. And Kuparaja, of course, gets Overgrowth, which we see here. I go for the Palisand combo. Um, oh, this is the wrong game. This is week 8. Why are my games not in order? So yeah, so I don't have the recording for that one. The New York Fire Dogs was our next loss. We actually do have that one. That's right here against Peter. Uh, this should be it. This is a different Peter. Yeah, that was a different Peter. Okay, yeah, so I don't know. My recordings are just all sorts of haywire here. But either way, I can still talk about it. So for Peter, he had a very intense draft, and we'll actually talk about him twice. So I'm not going to go too much over it here. Basically, going into it, Peter already at this point was already pretty much a shoe in for the number 1 or worst case number 2 slot. And I was fighting, and at this point, I'm looking at third or fourth. Right, those are my things, and I still had a win. 3 out of my last 5 games to guarantee myself in that race, uh, because of the 2-3 record we were posting right there. Um, and our differential wasn't horrible, right? We inherited -2, we go 2, bounce back out. We go -3, we go 5, +2. We lose 1, we're still +1. Now we're at -2 from the Fire Dogs game, which that was really important to just for differential spreads, right? To keep us from falling out of contention and falling too hard there. And I did kind of balance out everyone and what I brought and how often I brought. When you look over here, you'll see, Urshifu did get to play in 10 games. He went 6-6. Blastoise played 3 games, went 6-2. Glisspod played 6. Raichu played 6. Palisand played 7. I got Steelix in 4. I used a Subgore in 5. Drapion in none. Galarian and those tier 5 guys in none because I just couldn't viably use them. And I was going to use one in a meme match that we'll talk about later, but it just didn't work out. So we go against Peter. Peter has a very stacked team that he drafted, featuring Cinderace as well as Primarina. So it was very hard to counter both. So when we played this week, I built to counter Cinderace. I run Scarf Urshifu or Scarfed Urshifu just to outspeed the Cinderace. That way I could hit it. Because he's not going to just sucker punch the Urshifu. He's going to want to go for an airstream or something. So we went into that just to try and counter him. Then we ended up losing because the Primarina. We just didn't have enough to cover and counter both of them this week. Um, and this will also show you why some of my team building I wasn't taking too serious as far as the regular season. Or I wouldn't say too serious, but as seriously as I should have, and I could have, because we'll have a rematch against this same exact team with a little variation because it's a little more, when I go home. But you'll see that as well. So then we have our next game uh, against EEF. Um, And now EEF, we'll scroll over here and we'll look at look for them on here. And EFF maybe. Is that who we played? Yep. So this is who we played here. No recording here. So I do not know. I'm not sure what happened there. But yeah, so we won by +3. And looking at his team, this team here, my opponent is at 3 wins here. He had the beat up combo, right? Weavile, Terrakion. He also had Porygon 2. He had Mammoth Swine. War Turtle, this is no legacy because it's VGC style purely. So you won't see Follow Me War Turtle with the Eviolite, so that won't be here, but you'll still have support, Helping Hand stuff, Yawn, Light Dew, I believe. It's just VGC legal still. Berserker for some fake out stuff. The Elder Goss and the Lurantis. Lurantis is one of those mons that it can be deadly just because it lowers its special attack and uses contrary for a boost, actually. So that's a very dangerous thing if you let it get going. And we have a lot of water types, right? So this was a little bit risky for us. I remember we ended up winning, getting some good rolls and some stuff, and getting a cripple paralysis or two to give us that win there against him, and we got the 3. So looking at differential battles and where we're at now, we're at 0 going into here. We're at 2 at the end of this week. We're at 1 at the end of this week. We're at -2 at the end of this week. And because of this, now we're back in the positives. We're at 1. And we're also at 3 and 4. So at this part right here, we're 3 and 4 with a +1. Okay. Not great. Right? That's really not good going into this when you're looking at it. And it was one of those things where we were 2 and 4. We had a win and win out nearly. So then the following week, and I already had this guy here. He dropped out, and because we're in the back half of the season, I ended up getting this as a forfeit. So we know this is going to be a W right here, and it was a 3 because of the way it's a forfeit. So going into this week against Ohio Obstagoons, this was a crucial game. We got a +2, and we managed to secure the win. So now we're at 4-4, and we're at +3. Okay. This is where you'll see where it really starts to get crazy. So this week we're at +4, or we're 4-4 +3. Okay. Now we go into this game against BDK. At this point, the way the bracket fell off, even though we are at 4 and 4 with a +3, I had already already had this, right? So we already have this right here. Technically. So we're technically at this point in the series when we play BDK here, we're really 5 and 4, and we're +6 differential. So I had already locked at this point. I was a lock for the 2 seed, purely on the games. I think he had to play Peter and someone else, and it was like a very tough last couple weeks for him. He ended up locking it at, I think, I don't remember, 4. I think he had 4. I think that was what it was. So at this point, it was like I was kind of already looking at the playoffs going on against BDK. I qualified, so we actually went in with mean teams. And did no thought, and that's a -6 differential. So you look here, we're 5 and 5 +0. That's where we're at now, right? As our final 5-5 +0. And then if we go back and we look at the main tab over here, you'll see where the rankings fell. My opponent was 4-6. It's I was EFF. He was the guy next to me. And I think he actually won one and lost that. Yeah, so when we played BDK right here, they had already played their match and he had already lost. And at that point, he could not. And they were fighting for fourth right there, that 4-6 ties. So that's why we decided to do a meme match for our match because I already had a win the next week, thanks to the forfeit, and it was kind of already over. So then as we move on there, this is what we have going into it as far as my side of the bracket. You have 10-0, Peter, the New York Fire Dogs, with a plus 25. Yeah, BDK, the guy me matched with, he is 8-2 at plus 22. You had me at a -1 differential, which actually it should have been zero. And then you have EFF 4-6 at a -5 differential in the Eastern Conference. Now, looking at the Western Conference, I won't talk too much about it because I was not in the Western Conference, so I didn't really follow that side of the bracket. I preferred to just look at my Eastern side and who I was playing. Uh, we had 9-1 and two 8-2s and a 7-3, right? Clear cuts there with the playoff picture. Uh, that was definitely the more competitive side of the bracket. Um, and you look at a plus 33, a plus 28, a plus 33, and a plus 21, and all four up there with our top two, right? So you kind of see, oh, and even look at their fifth place was a plus 6. I mean, that's more. And then you look at PTP minus 51, Dirty Dittos minus 37. We had a minus 26-19. So you see, it was very top heavy, especially from this Western side. And I think they actually won the majority of their games over here. Like he beat us in the regular season. And I think that's how that worked out. They ended up winning a lot of their out of conference games. Uh, then you look here in the playoffs. So we end up getting BDK uh, in the first round of the playoffs, right? So what we'll do here is we will look for my match against him, and that should be Eastern Conference Finals, Draft League Finals, Eastern Conference. So tight matches, ladder climbs, PCG, playoffs against Will Grant and Nido Queen's Castle. Maxis Selgor wins it. That's it. All right. So this is my playoff match against BDK, and I'm not gonna spend forever on it. I'm just going to kind of show you guys what I'm doing here as far as ideas. I did bring the Raichu back. I brought the Palisand and the Selgor with the Seed, the Palisand with the Culver Berry. For dark types, the Urshifu is indeed Sash. I did Scarf my Galissapod here. Um, and then Blastoise, I think I did leftovers and cheese set. Uh, and so you see here, I'm finishing getting it ready. And do. So here we go. This is into the match with Eddie. I wish I was doing my camera thing where I was putting my camera smaller and off to the side and moving it around to avoid this. So here's the thing. He had the NDD, which does a lot. Okay, Kangaskhan can fake out almost anything, including ghost types. Poliwrath and Belly Drum. Duraludon was my main thing here that I had to take care of, right? I wasn't too concerned about anything else going into this match. Duraludon was a problem. How do I slow that thing down? Especially when it's paired next to Indeedee, right? So between Follow Me's, I can't sit there and nuzzle it or parting shot or charm, or I can't sit there and drop its stats, right? Because Indeedee's going to be there and have Follow Me pressure. So that was kind of what I was planning on going into this week. And we actually ended up playing this match super late. So what I did is I did two things. The first thing was Blastoise. That was my first idea and attempt. The other thing was Raichu being in the back as a switch in case he goes for Max Lightning. So I wanted him to think that he could Max Lightning me. And to credit to my opponent Eddie here, very good job on looking up the move sets and recognizing what you'll see here. He doesn't have to risk max lightning because he dug into Duraludon's move pool and he found a special move that Duraludon has that allows him to not use electric attacks, which hurt me, and I did not know that. Like I did not look into that at all. I was just thinking typical Duraludon set, right? I looked a little bit. I was like, okay, you can run the electric, which is probably what you'll do. Next, I hope you can't follow me. No, my opponent had overgrowth. So you see, I'm even like, oh crap, this is going to be rough, right? And I'm super specially bulky on my entire team this week. I went less heavy hitting, more special bulk, just because he has a good amount of special attackers that I want to counter. And that nearly still one shots my Blastoise, which has a lot of special bulk and HP investment. And at that point of this match, I am just like, okay, what do I do? So going into it, Blastoise is done. What's my play? My play is to throw a move out here and try and break one of his leads a little bit. So Duraludon is life form. Okay. He's putting a lot of pressure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set up the Wormwind, lowers physical attack, which I don't know why I did it, but also, super effective. Um, and I think I actually did. I switch. I did. Cannonade and light screen. Oh, I don't remember if I clicked at a time. I think I was late. So I ended up switching to Cannonade. And my thought process behind that switch was, okay, Blastoise is dead. I don't want to max anything else right now in the back. Blastoise is faster. Let's throw the Cannonade out. Cannonade will do chip damage to both of his Pokemon. Between that, my bulk in the back, it should add up, right? Light screens will allow me to have more bulk going into the back. So that's why I went Cannonade. And I was like, you know what? I have some extra power right now. Let's Cannonade. And we see Cannonade does about 45% right there, right? It takes it almost a half. And I didn't misclick. So we end up eerie impulsing instead of setting the screen, which is fine. I probably should have thunderbolted there. I think that would have been the more ideal play. Um, we also probably could have dark pulls, but that chip damage is important, right? So we see the chip damage comes out, and now it takes Indeedee. It does about 15% to Indeedee, right? Because in Lepto's recovery now doesn't even put it back at half. So after that play, what I end up doing is I'm going to go ahead and go into, I believe I'm going to go Galissapod. So with Galissapod, he'll be the fastest thing in the field. Oh, I didn't. Oh. So I went Urshifu. I assume this is through close combat. Uh, that would be my guess right now if I'm looking at it. I would assume I'm going to close combat and Thunderbolt. But I have no idea, to be honest with you. What am I doing? What am I thinking? Okay. So I hard switched here. Sorry, it's been a while since I even remember playing these. Um, and honestly, it's probably because I really do want Raichu. So we see Follow Me comes out. So what's beautiful about this is our opponent's only having one mon attack us. So we're getting a lot of 2-for-1 turns here, which we're able to take advantage of. And so we throw the Surging Strikes out, and we're sashed. So it's okay to throw it out. Now, Surging Strikes picks up the kill. That's beautiful. And then he attacked a Wormwind. So that's going to lower our physical attack, right? So that's not great because it does mean Urshifu gets a stat lowered, right? So we're now at -1 attack. Triggers emergency exit, so Gliscopod will come out. We'll bring Raichu right back in. So this actually preserves Fake Out for us. So at this point, it's 2 and like 2.2, honestly, against 2.8, right? As far as health percentages in Pokemon Go. And we still have no idea what his back row is. So he's going to go ahead and bring out Zatu here. So with Zatu coming out, my best play is to let Xatu do something, right? It's going to outspeed me, but I'm sashed, and I'm faster than Duraludon. What he could have done is he could have gone for a Tailwind there with it, but I wasn't too worried about the Tailwind uh, because then my sash stays intact. We see close combat actually does manage to pick up the kill, which is really good for us. Uh, Cannonade now will actually break a little bit into Xatu, so this is really important for us. Uh, Going into this term, what do we think, right? Xatu, he has something else. It's Kangaskhan. Okay, cool. We know what's potentially coming from this Kangaskhan. It's going to be a fake out somewhere, right? That's what I'm thinking. What am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and protect my Urshifu, who you think is the bigger threat. At least I'm hoping. And then I'm going to go ahead and Thunderbolt your Xatu because I doubt you're carrying Protect. If you are, it sucks for me, but we'll find out, right? This is game one. We're still finding out. You know, the overgrowth being revealed game one was extremely important and crucial for us because, you know, that was something that now we can plan around the rest of the games. So I go for the detect here, hoping that he targets it. He did fake it out. So his Kangaskhan's now muted. Now his Exatu is going to Psychic my Raichu. So Light Screen was really important here because if Light Screen didn't happen, we probably die. And that was a crit. So we're going to Thunderbolt here. And now Thunderbolt will pick up the KO. Super effective. Exatu is now dead. The water damage mattered so much. Okay. Now it's a, 0.5 versus 0.9. Okay. We're in a lot better of a spot because our 0.5 is spread out, right? We still have Urshifu and Raichu. Both are going to be faster than Kangaskhan. So we can just tag team with a close combat Thunderbolt. We can swap out here to bring him back in with no, stat drops from the close combat and from the warm wind and everything else. It really doesn't matter how we play this at the end. We're at -1 attack defense. So what I did is I went ahead and I said, you know what, let's swap to Gliscopod, right? Let's go ahead and do that. And let's protect here. Let's keep Raichu safe. I'm playing passive, okay? So what happens here is the move pool could be revealed to us, and this is kind of the reason for this. If he targets Raichu and shows us a move, that's great. We get to write another move that we know down in his last resort. So that tells us a couple of things, right? You can only use last resort if it's the last move you have. So that means he's running fake out and last resort. That's like the combo here. So going into this turn, what I'm going to do, we're just going to go ahead and double down. We're going to go ahead and liquidation because we are faster thanks to the scarf. And now I probably could have Aqua Jetted here to not reveal the speed of us. I think going into games 2 and 3, that would have benefited me a little bit more to not reveal our speeds here, thanks to the scarf. But that's what happens. That was one of the things that we revealed that I probably could have kept hidden by just Aqua Jetting and close combating again for the win. And we'll see here. We pick up the win. What did we win by? Again, I'm trying to remember. We beat him in a 3-0. So we had a 2-0 there. And then we go to this game. So this game, I have to play around that that lead, right? Because that lead was great for my opponent. Duraludon is a problem. How do I play around it? I know. A Salgor. A Salgor can lower your special attack. Mine this week was actually to do damage. Not for the Palisand. Palisand is a filler here, right? Like, I'm not going to use Palisand against you. Palisand is just here to make you think that's what a Salgor is for. The same reason they almost always came together all season. The only game I didn't do that was Peter, where I actually did max the Salgor there. So going into this game, I say, okay, what can help with that lead? The Salgor honestly covers it really well and benefits from the first or initial terrain because you're going to set the terrain, activate my burden, give me a boost in special defense as well as my speed gets maxed, and now I'm hitting first. So that was very important for me going into this. Um, and then, of course, the other benefit is that we do damage to you. So we lead the Astalgor, he leads the same combo. And this is one of those things where it's kind of like a okay. In all honesty, this combo for him probably should have won the previous game. We had some good reads, and that was a little bit of luck, right? So we were able to get by the combo. So going into this game, he's going to want to run the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to max bug. This lowers the special attack. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to liquidation. Okay. Um, I could have also leech lifed here, but I felt liquidation was a little bit safer. So odds are you follow me or you helping hand, right? Those are your two viable moves here. I don't think you're running expanding force. I think you're running support. Now you might be running expanding force. It's still a possible scenario. I just don't know, right? I don't think it's extremely dangerous to me, but the other part of that is I'm also faster than in DD. Even if you're running max speed and special attack in DD, because you max my Selgor speed, and I'm scarfed on my other mon. So this was my speed lead. It's basically just a hit ASAP and try and clear out the follow me pressure. Because if we can clear out the follow me and allow Urshifu to come in and have a CC into that Duraludon, that's extremely big for us. The other part of it is we also will lower special attack of the Duraludon, meaning every turn we're lowering its stats with the Subware. So this first Flutter buy, I was actually very happy. I did not expect it to do 95% right. It literally almost cleaned it up. I was able to pick up the KO nearly, and now Gliscod just comes in, taps it away, does that last 10 HP or whatever, and that's it, right? It's gone. Follow Me is gone on turn one, and my opponent warned them. The beautiful thing here, it lowers physical attack, not special, so Gliscod's fine, and you went into a Subgore stays fine, I apologize. And now Gliscod has emergency exit, so guess what? He's going to swap out. That's fine, because now I get a free swap into the thing I want to use to counter you. So we go Urshifu here. Now my plan with Urshifu, there's two things, right? It's A, reswap him right back out if you bring out Fake Out. That's an option. Or detect and go ahead and say, you know what? What am I going to do? Let's find out. So this turn, I'm going to go ahead and flutter by again. Why? Lower special attacks. I'm also going to go ahead and pivot out. I did want to keep Gliscod for speed in the back, but I also want to keep Raichu for the possibility that he brought the exact same four. I thought that was very option. Um, but I did settle on. I think I can still chip Zatu with everything else. Let's go ahead and go Raichu here and preserve Gliscod because it's speed. Being my Scarf Mon, it'll have a little bit more speed. And I was hoping my opponent would just fake out and then target the Astelgor slot. That was kind of what I was really hoping would happen here. We see Kangaskhan's extremely special bulky, right? We did almost no damage. But now Duraludon is at -2 special attack. He's going to throw out a Wormwood. Once again, I'm pretty special on the field right now. And because he's -2 now, we live that attack. So now I'm going to go ahead and set the water. And I'm going to go ahead and do a Thunderbolt. Right? I wasn't covering Thunder. I probably should have sub Thunder in on one of my moves. I really wasn't able to use Eerie Impulse at all. So I could have done that this game. But basically what we're doing right here is we're setting the water. This is to help Urshifu and Gliscod both with their water attacks for the back half of this game, as well as to give Raichu, or not Raichu, the Slugworth more. So his Kangaskhan did live there, right? It took the double up, lives on like 5 HP, and it might be 10. Now he picks up the kill on the Raichu. He hasn't touched Gliscod because he's going to aim for Last Resort, which is going to do so much damage. It's not even remotely funny how much damage that'll do. And you see, full HP Selgor pretty much one shot by Last Resort. It is a monster of a move if pulled off correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and go Urshifu. We have Gliscod. My plan for this play is, what do I do? Right? I need to kill Duraludon, but not really, right? Because it is -2. Kangaskhan, on the other hand, that Last Resort is a nightmare, but it's also paralyzed. So I'm going into this saying, do I double up and make sure Duraludon dies? Or do I split and try and pick up a dual kill here? What do we do? Let's split, right? Let's go ahead and just kill the Kangaskhan 100%, and close combat will one-shot Duraludon. Because we're neutral this time. We're not -1 like we were before, and we one-shot it. So that was a really good piece of information for us to pick up. So we throw the close combat out. My opponent did not switch. I thought that was a possibility, especially because of how low they were in stats. But they chose to stay in. So we're able to pick up a double KO there, and that was really, really fortunate for us to pick up the double knockout on this turn, because we're going to go into the subsequent turn with a little bit of power. So it is the exact same team, right? Here's the Exatu. Only difference now, we don't have what we used last time, but I set the range for this reason. Now, everything hits a little bit harder. I am choice locked into the liquidation. So that is one optional issue. He air slashes, kills Gliscod. So now what we're doing is now we're going to see how Urshifu hits it, right? We're in the rain. These are all crits. This is a little bit more bulky, but look at that. In the rain, crit, boom. Only takes 2 of its 3 to kill this Exatu and secure the win. And liquidation should have killed as well. And we were Sashi, wouldn't have killed us. And then we would have just Aqua Jet liquidation the following turn. So that's a controlled win right there for us. And that was our first match in the playoffs against a guy who had a +6 win on us just 2 weeks prior in our little mini match. Then we're looking at it, and you see we played Peter here for the Eastern Conference Finals. We managed to win that. That match against Peter. That's going to be right here. So yeah, so we have our match against Peter. And just a quick little. Oh, this is the grand finals. This is my Eastern Conference Finals. So just a heads up. Remember, Peter had the very ridiculous Cinderace and Primarina to play for. So in the opposite spectrum of my previous game with him, this game I went for the. This had a lot of mistakes by both of us, honestly. This was a very sloppy game. It really was. It was one of those things where there was a lot of pressure, a lot of nerves, a lot of, whatever. And a lot of tipsiness, right? Like a lot of, yeah. So anyway, I brought in the Dharmaka just to bring it to a game, let them have one, one showing maybe. That was kind of, I was going to use it, honestly. I really was going to try to, because I felt very comfortable with the Primarina and that he was going to rely on it over the Cinderace because last time the Cinderace was what I countered, Primarina was what won. So I really was hoping and kind of expecting him to say, you know what, let's feature Primarina a little bit harder this time. So you'll see I go Scope with the Raichu. Uh, Scarf from Blastoise for Water Spout. Selgor is Life Orb. I'm not going from Burdens, man. I'm just going for damage. Urshifu, same thing. Palossand and the Darumaka are there as memes, right? Darumaka gets Belly Drum. Uh, Belly Drum Eviolite, pretty interesting. Um, and then the Palossand is just here because it can be, right? It's not coming in this game at all. So I go Urshifu. I actually Urshifu gets some of the elemental punches, so it does get Thunder Punch, which is what we featured here, and it almost backfired, but it doesn't because Lightning Rod absorbed it and gave Raichu a +2, which allowed Raichu to do damage. And I'm just going to show you guys that specific damage count, which I think is right about here. I think so. That was how much it did the first time. So this game, because of the Urshifu max in the Lightning Rod, uh, we're now at a positive, and boom. And now I was able to kill that Primarina, which he thought was a 3-hit KO because the boost. That was very clutch. And that allows us to live. And of course, Raichu is a little bit more bulky this game, a little less speed because I felt speed wasn't as needed. Here comes Cincino. This is going to be a Scarf set. 90% of the time when I see it, I assume it's going to be Scarf or Flinch Cheese. Being in VGC, I'm going to assume Scarf. So I know it's going to have Rock Blast, it's going to have Tail Slap, it's going to have Bullet Seed. Now, it's which one does he want to use on me, right? I have a lot of water. So Bullet Seed is kind of the one, but I was really hoping he just focused into the Pikachu slot um, because it stopped his paralysis, and that's what happened. So he Bullet Seeds Blastoise was really good, and we get it down to literally like next to nothing. Um, so here, what's great is this next play. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna Water Shuriken the Cincino because it is in red health. I can priority kill it. This is gonna let Raichu target. And I did check the terrain because I was like, man, I already had a few mistakes this game. Let's not have any more. And then I'll go ahead and Thunderbolt the Meowstic. So we'll see. Pick up the kill there. Meowstic can now not go for Thunderwave Cheese and activate his berry. But we know that one more Thunderbolt will indeed kill Meowstic. Water Shuriken can probably kill Meowstic from where it's at. He's going to just put damage on Selgor. So Selgor has some bulk to him. A little bit of lag here. So yeah, so Min Minshao, this is the last one. So the thing with Minshao uh, is it does get fake out, right? So the question is, who are you faking out? Who do you think is the bigger threat? So I kind of read it into a Selgor. That was what I was thinking. It was not. It was Naraicho. So thankfully, the Psychic was still into Selgor though. Because of that, it allowed us to get by that Mian Child for that turn. Now for this next turn, what we're going to do is I'm going to Sludge Bomb the Mian Shao, and I'm going to go ahead and Thunderbolt the Meowstic. This is to put damage on the Mian Shao ASAP, as well as kill the Meowstic. The benefit of Sludge Bomb is there's a chance for poison, which could also help chip away at our opponent a little bit more if he does indeed kill our Raichu this turn with the Mian Shao. He actually ends up going for Thunder Wave. So Lightning Rod kicks in. I did it. He did it. We both activated my Lightning Rod this game. And we see Mian Shao gets the poison here. Didn't really matter. We're faster, and we did like 70%. Raichu's still going to be faster than this one if it's not using Thunder Wave. And it's going to be a +1 now, so it's going to pick up the kill. So now either way, we're pretty much set. Knockoff comes out. He's just trying to find out the item here. So this was a little unfortunate that we didn't double and kill it just because it revealed our specs. Um, and now going into this play, one thing I couldn't remember is if Mian Shao if it had quick attack. To be honest with you, and I forgot even if we both use priority moves, is which one goes first. Um, and I honestly, I just for the life of me could not remember if it got quick attack, vacuum wave, or if it got any priority moves. So I was just kind of like, okay, let's protect, let's let poison do its job, and then I was like, okay, now we're gonna water shuriken. Hopefully, we're fine, and we ended up being fine. And I was also the other benefit of that protect was if poison didn't kill and we were still in that position, I at least get one more turn to see and bait out if he does have priority because I really didn't know. And that's just kind of an overall that game. Uh, Two more plays, the same thing. I think I maxed the Selgor again. He goes the Cinderace route. Uh, Cinderace being faster threw me off, but it became flying type, and then Raichu was able to just thunderbolt it out of there. And we were able to proceed here. And then we look, Meowstic's going to Psychic. He wants to get Raichu out. This game, we took paralysis on like everything we owned. And then we go into game three. Game three, it was kind of a, okay, what are you going to do? Game two was a auto lead because timer went out on my opponent's end. In this game three here, he went back to the basics, right? Which was great for me because I led for the basics. And we were able to pull it out. I think this one we pulled it to very close. I just can't remember if it was the same exact two or how we did it. Did we? Let's see. So yeah, you see here, it ends up with Mian Shao and Meowstic both very low. Blastoise is just gonna water spout at this point. I didn't use him yet because we got that pretty rough damage from the Cincino game one. Uh, and we know Thunder Wave is coming. There's really nothing we can do about Thunder Waves. So this was just kind of like okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and just water Shuriken and try and kill this Mian Shao. Unfortunately I hit twice. My opponent does indeed Thunder Wave, and it missed, right. So that was extremely crucial. He knocked off our scarf, so that kind of sucked because we wanted our scarf intact. Uh, but we get out the water spout. It's going to go ahead and finish off the Mian Shao and pick up the kill on the Meowstic. So this takes us to a 2v1. And then it was Cinderace, right? That's what I was really wanting. So the benefit here with Cinderace being his last Pokemon, we have a priority water and we have another water attack. So if my opponent sucker punches while we use Water Shuriken, Water Shuriken will go first, and Sucker Punch will fail because we already attacked. Uh, so that's what we did right here. We're going to go ahead and just, boom, double into it, get damage. Worst case, you Sucker Punch the Blastoise. But once again, we're still going to hit you while you're a fire type with this first Water Shuriken set. And this is, man, I love when the matches come down to a game three. So here we go, Water Shuriken. And I was assuming Water Shuriken was going to be a 2-hit KO, like two separate sets of Water Shuriken. And we see right there, 3 hits on this first one, and it does about 65, I'd say. And he indeed Sucker Punched me. So that was like, okay, that's game. Great. That's really good for us. He also could have potentially bounced, which would have been bad. But thankfully, he sucker punched, and that'll let us secure the dub here and win the Eastern Conference. So just looking back at it, you know, uh, we came at 5-5 as the third seed, and we were able to take out. And we had to play the two people above us, right? We had BDK 8-2, and we had a for a rematch, but not really, because I don't really count our first game because both of us weren't serious. And then we had New York Fire Dogs, who very very tight match the first game, three differential. But he had 25 all season. I mean, he was crushing people pretty well. There was a couple games where he did very good. So to be undefeated in the season, that speaks a lot. So to be able to take him out in the Eastern Finals, that was really crazy and very awesome. So that lets us go now to the final, the grand finals, the grand slam. And for this one, we are going to be playing Samuel. Samuel and his team, the Great Lake Grimsnarls, right? They come in, they had to play the Pincers 1-0. Then they had to play WHP, they won 1-0, right? Very, very close games. Looking at differentials, right? You look at his differentials compared to ours against BDK, we had a 3. Against New York, we had a 1, 2, I think we had a 3. Uh, Whereas over here on Sam, he has a 1-1, right? But he's getting it. And the thing with Sam's team, we'll look at it, was probably the worst to play against or to practice and team build against, right? Look at his team. All right, look at these guys. Venusaur Ninetales. So he has the fire combo. We see 18 games for the Venusaur, 21 kills, only 9 deaths. Then we see his Ninetales is only coming 8 of those games, going 5-5. Then you look, Osmero has played in 8 games, had his went 18-2 as a bad game cleaner. Razong has played in 14 and gone 5-7. Lowland Persian has been in 7. Bolton's been in 5. Credence been in 4. Arctazol's been in 4. So when I looked at this, I knew I could pretty much count those 3 out. Butterfree, I knew I could pretend didn't exist to me. So Venusaur, Ninetales, Osmero, Razong, Lowland Persian. I know those 5 are coming. So then Arctazol was a question, but I honestly thought Bolton would be the one. I was like, okay, it's going to be one of those two. And I think I actually did predict Bolton. But he ended up going Arctazol. Uh, that was a really great set. Uh, and I'll just skip here to this opening turn here. We'll see. Uh, I did a lot of baiting in this game. I maxed my Urshifu games 1 and game 2 because I want you to think that that's what I have to max, right? In game 2, I maxed him in an unfavorable position, but I did it because I am trying to teach you that that's who I'm always maxing. Because in a set of 3, that's a very viable strategy, especially if you win game 1. Game 2, go in and max the same thing. Your opponent's like, okay, I've only seen this max. I don't know. Then game 3, you max your true win con for that set, and you use it. If the game 1 max is still working, go for it, right? But if it's a close one, change it up. So right here, I go Thunderbolt. Got a 3-hit KO. We max Flare, he max guarded. We avoid the Will-O-Wisp. That was crucial. That was really bad luck for Sam, but really great for us. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and max guard, avoid Wisp, and I'm going to go ahead and Thunderbolt. The importance of this is I have to kill Ninetales. That way Urshifu can do stuff. Even if you kill Raichu, I have stuff that is priority, and his Scarf can come in here and just finish off Ninetales for me. But I have to put it in range. So boom, make your Wisp miss for a second time thanks to a guard, and you'll either kill me or I'll live and finish Ninetales off and then hit you. So boom. Next turn here, we're going to go into it. I'm going to go Gillespod. The reason for Gillespod, same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and priority hit this Ninetales and get rid of it. Right? So we're going to Aqua Jet. I'm going to get this thing out of here. I don't want this thing around. Right? Like, that is a problem. Boom, Aqua Jet. does just enough. And I know Aqua Jet's going to do about 20 to 30% going forward. That was one of the calcs I really wanted to see. This Max Flare, I didn't really expect it to be as bulky. You'll see it does about 65%, maybe 70 actually. And it's weakness policy. Now he's going to lightning, kills Gillespod. Not good, right? This is really bad for us in this game one. We're getting steamrolled a little bit. He's now picked up his second kill. We've killed one. I mean, we pretty much have one set near kill. And now we bring our season MVP, a guy who you saw has played in both playoffs and done exceptionally well. The Selgor comes out. Selgor was really, really good here for a couple of reasons. One is this a burden, instant speed control. Two, he hits almost everything my opponent has, right? Like he can hit Venusaur decent. He can hit Brazong super great. He can hit almost everything. So this turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fire punch Brazong, and I'm going to go ahead and Bug Buzz and get rid of this Arctazol. I almost second guessed it, but then I was like, wait, you're pretty physically bulky, so I doubt you're going to be especially bulky as well. So boom, we're going to throw the Bug Buzz out. And thankfully, Bug Buzz picks up the kill. No 1 HP living crap, which would have been really bad. And then we throw the Fire Punch. The really good thing about this is we know it is heat proof because it doesn't die. Thankfully, my opponent does not go for Trick Room. That was a threat of mine on the field I was kind of worried about. But I also thought my opponent still had Venusaur. They don't want to go Trick Room with Venusaur still in the back. So now we go to this turn. I have to play around the sun now. So there's one turn left of sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and detect here. And I'm going to go ahead and try and kill the Brazong or put damage on Venusaur. Right? Those are my two options. The detect is because you're going to want to target Urshifu. You know it has fire. You know it hits hard. You know it's a legendary. So that's going to be your main focus. So my main focus is preserving him for when sun's gone. So boom, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to detect here. And I would hope you attack my Urshifu with your Venusaur. So boom, we use detect. And we look here, weather ball comes out. I was kind of like, oh crap, no. But I'm running a Sash, which means he's now the fastest thing on the field. Thanks to Unburden. And Sun being over after this turn, and you've already went. So yeah, so now he's the fastest. Bug Buzz will kill Brazong. Get Brazong out of there. It's going to be a 2v2. One of mine is on a Sash. That is very important because any priority move would have killed it. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It was a 2v1. So then going into this turn, we're now faster because we played around the sun turns. And we're just going to go ahead and Fire Punch and Bug Buzz. Both of our Pokemon are faster. And you can only kill one. You are probably running Earth Power, so you don't really have any dual moves. Unless you run Razor Leaf, I guess, which that would have been cool, but not really effective. We see that does about 40%. So Fire Punch can do the last 60. Game 2, opposite force, really crucial. And yeah, and I'll let y'all watch the final matches if you haven't yet. I don't want to spoil too much out of them. But yeah, just going back and looking back at my team this season for the Miami Magnus, uh, looking at what we had, just as far as a roster, Urshifu Rapid Strike definitely did very good for us, especially in the playoffs, being able to go Thunder Punches, Fire Punches, as well as has his Surging Strike, close combat stuff. That was very great. Blastoise, we saw he was able to have a couple different niches as far as Shell Smashes, as far as Water Spouts, Choice Scarf. Excuse me. Gillespod, Sucker Punch. We saw the poison jab. He actually has a poison jab in the Osmo that does so much damage in the grand finals. It was sick. Um, and that was then you have Raichu, Palossand, and Salgore. So I'm gonna rank everybody as far as who my team MVP are. I'm gonna give three. For my three MVPs this season, the Selgor is number one. I maxed the Selgor more times than I would ever think possible. I love a Selgor. It's a very great mon. Burden's a very good ability, especially in a draft league. Good move set, good special attack. Raichu, Lightning Rod, hurt me in the one game, but we still managed it through because it also benefited it. Uh, whether you run support, whether you run specs and damage, it just offered a couple different options where my opponents really had to question it. Is there a fake out? Is there no fake out? Is he locked? Is he not locked? So I was able to run that a couple different ways. I've run it with Focus Sash, Air Balloon, Choice Specs, Choice, whatever. And so because I was able to run it 4 or 5 different sets on it, makes it hard to plan for. And the same thing falls with the Selgor, right? I've run Life Orbs, I've run Focus Sash, I've run seeds for terrains when I set them or when you're going to set them or whatever it may be. Blastoise, I've run the both. I ran a Life Duel Yawn, Helping Hand. I ran, you know, uh, Scarf with the thing. I've run Shell Smash with the White Herb. So we've seen a couple. Uh, so definitely A tier for those two. And then my last A tier mon I'm going to put is Urshifu Rapid Strike. Um, Next to a Selgor and Raichu. Urshifu gets A tier for its playoff performance. Regular season, nothing too crazy, nothing too great. I mean, the differential is zero. My differentials are definitely not wrong, I think, but whatever. I don't. I think I stopped recording these somewhere, but either way, um, the playoffs having all the elemental punches for fire and electric, especially being that it's watertight, really helped us. I mean, it was a blessing to be able to hit some of the stuff we had to hit and win. So that gives him the A tier just for pure playoff. Him and Estelgor and Raichu, the three of them were my three main core that really worked together. Palisand, I'll put B tier. Regular season, he did his job. He came in, he was able to help us win some games, keep some games close, but most importantly, distract people. Thinking Palisand and Selgor have to be together, and then I keep the Selgor on the team, Palisand on the same team, but I'm not ever really using Palisand in a BGC playoff match uh, unless it has a great matchup, right? It's just so many things that are weak to it. I don't have a trick room setter, so it makes it a little bit difficult. Uh, so he's going to be B tier. Glisspot is another high beer tier. He's like on that B to A because it did what it needed to do throughout the season. I mean, it's come in, it picked up kills when I needed it to. It survived. It hung on. It gave free switches. I could run choice band, choice scarf on sometimes. I ran slow. I with a berry. I run whatever it needs. It was able to run a lot of different sets. Has a really good move pool with poison jab, liquidation, aqua jet, sucker punches, first impression, leech life. So that is high B. We'll move him to A2. I'll put him as my fourth and final A tier mon just for viability. Has a lot, Blastoise right under it just because it's less as effective, because it is a little bit more beefy, bulky, so you can't really put a lot of offense pressure. But as a support, was really great throughout the season. Uh, Drapion, Darmuka, Gravelock, all solid C tier mons. I just had no game plan to use them to win, especially in the playoffs. I really do wish I could have gone back and used them in the regular season, especially Drapion. That would have been great. But there you have it, guys. It's a quick recap showing of my VGC Season 1 adventure with PBK. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I know it's going to be a little long, so I am, first and foremost, I'm sorry about how long this is going to be. But I just wanted to do this video and share with you guys, a recap. And with that, yeah, I'm the Season 1 PBK VGC Draft League Champion. Do. I'm just kidding, but not for real, though. I guess I kind of am. I'm still waiting on Peter to give me my trophy or like a belt, maybe. I think that'd be cool, Peter. FYI. Like maybe you could like graphic design like me with like a belt for PBK. I mean, I think that'd be cool, little rap picture for it, you know what I'm saying? Hint, hint, wink, wink. But with that, guys, I am out. Be sure to watch the podcast. A lot of fun stuff. We have trainer videos coming out helping teach you guys how to do type advantages, weaknesses, all the basic stuff that you'll need to know. For any of new people trying to get into battling, that's going to slowly evolve too. We're going to start talking about IVs and EVs are going to be broken up, but we're going to do IVs and EVs going into the next couple of weeks. Those will be coming out every week, every other week. Uh, Check those out if you're trying to get into battling. Watch the other videos I post. I have some long ones where I actually play a team for the first time on ladder, and I'm learning it with you, so you can kind of see what I'm looking at when I'm learning a team, what I'm watching, what I'm trying to study with it, especially not even seeing spreads or whatever. And that's really good for y'all who will just probably use rental codes. Because you're not going to know full spreads, so you want to know how to look and see what it is you're doing to what and what's doing what to you as far as ladders concerned and usage. So with that, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed this video and hope everyone has a happy new year.